Hi, I'm LadyJenevia. Today's video is a review of Good Omens Season 2. More specifically, I've seen screeners of the first 5 episodes of Season 2, and as far as I'm aware, there will be 6 episodes in total, just as there were 6 episodes of Season 1. I have not read the original source material, so I will not be saying anything about how closely it follows that, whether or not it's a faithful adaptation or any type of commentary of that nature. A couple of quick disclaimers before we get into things. I received these press screeners for Good Omens Season 2 before the SAG strike was announced, and there was a period of time where I thought that I would be scrapping my plans to review the show because I wasn't sure if it was even allowed to still review. Variety has published an article clarifying things for entertainment journalists and reporters, and the quote reads as follows. I'm a film critic. Can I review movies? Absolutely. Critics are not on strike and are not obligated to stop reviewing movies or TV shows. I'm an entertainment journalist. Can I cover movies and TV? Yes, entertainment journalists, whether they belong to a union or not, are not on strike. Even those broadcast journalists who are represented by SAG-AFTRA are not affected, as the strike relates only to the TV/theatrical contract. If at any point the terms and conditions for the SAG strike are revised or updated or modified in any way that indicates they don't want films or series to be reviewed during the strike, I have absolutely no problem abiding by that. I wanted to finish the reviews I already had in the works, where I had received the screeners before SAG voted to pass the strike, and also these series were completed before the strike, so they were not projects that were created in violation of the strike's terms. So to the best of my understanding, I think it's okay for me to proceed with this review. So this review will have mild spoilers. I'm definitely not sharing anything from the do not reveal list, but I will talk about some of the general plot points of different episodes. So if you really don't want to know anything other than whether or not I recommend Season 2, yes, I do. Now, on to the specific feedback. Season 1 focused largely on stopping the apocalypse. The vast majority of the narrative was about this mix-up with the babies, the Antichrist, the apocalypse, all of that intertwined with one another. Season 2 is different, though. It's different in a way that feels refreshing. It's not necessarily about one season being better in its approach than the other, but more so about keeping the audience interested and entertained when each and every one of us is being bombarded with so many choices. It can be challenging to keep the audience's attention, especially when you dump all of the episodes of your new season out in one go instead of making us tune in week after week so we have longer to let the story sit with us. But let me not go on a whole rant about one of the 11,000 reasons a significant portion of Hollywood has gone on strike right now. I'm going to give some episodic feedback, and then I will circle back to my overall thoughts that I have about Season 2. So episode 1 kicks off the recurring mystery of this season, which is that Gabriel, that's Jon Hamm's character, shows up on Earth with no memory of himself as Gabriel the angel. So you've got Aziraphale trying to figure out why that situation is what it is, but of course that means Crowley's going to get involved as well. What makes Season 2 different in its approach is that Season 1 had its main story getting the majority of the airtime, but out of the 5 episodes I saw of Season 2, 3 of these episodes had mini-sodes or mini-episodes within the runtime. Episode 2 takes us back to a mini-episode about Aziraphale and Crowley meeting Job. His name is Job, a figure from the Bible. Episode 3 is a mini-episode where Aziraphale and Crowley are in 1827 in Edinburgh, where they encounter a poor person who would dig up recently deceased bodies in order to try to sell them. And episode 4 has a mini-episode during World War II, where Aziraphale and Crowley encounter some fascist zombies. Of those 3, my personal favorite was episode 3, the one that's in Edinburgh, but just in general, I really like these mini episodes being a fresher approach to the overall storytelling for a couple of reasons. On the one hand, it's a bit like having these isolated stories where you get to open the world of possibilities for exploration with the storytelling. You can be at any point in time in a whole different array of locations. And what the stories have in common are the central characters, Aziraphale and Crowley. But on a deeper level, these stories are a great way of further exploring the layers and history of their relationship. It's fairly common knowledge by now that one of the huge selling points of Good Omens as a television series is the relationship of Aziraphale and Crowley. And it's a bit challenging to be able to have the audience fully understand that when it's something that has spanned, billions of years? I love that we get to see these glimpses of interesting and compelling moments of their relationship, of the ways that they've learned from one another and affected each other on these deep existential levels and been able to grow closer in their relationship. It ends up proving to be quite informative of how they came to have the relationship which we see them have in the present day portion of the show's timeline. There are no shortage of moments when we've seen that Aziraphale cares deeply for Crowley, but there are a couple of instances in season 2 when we really see how strong Crowley's feelings are for Aziraphale and what lengths he will go to make sure Aziraphale is okay. It makes sense in a different way when you see these windows into their shared history that spans longer than the history of Earth itself. But I also like the mini episodes when they're able to interrogate the religious ideology that the show is drawing creative inspiration from. This brings us back to why episode 3 has my favorite of the mini episodes. This storyline about the grave robbing offers some really thoughtful things to say about the systemic injustices that create and maintain poverty, and the ways that certain types of religious ideology can try to spread really harmful rhetoric to justify the existence of poverty, or worse than that, romanticize the concept altogether. I also like that the mini episode is set in Scotland because they let David Tennant sing a couple of lines where he's in character just being very hyped about Scotland, and what can I say? I had a lot of fun watching that. I want to call attention to something else that I really liked, and this is a mild spoiler, fair warning. If you remember in season 1, there was that instance of Aziraphale putting his wing up to shield Crowley. Well, in season 2, we get to see Crowley do something like that for Aziraphale, and I just love the circular romantic parallel. It's always fun when rom-coms do stuff like that. Maybe you have one character say something particularly memorable, a really well-written romantic statement, and then at some point further into the runtime, the other character will say that same thing back to the first character who said it in the first place. I love stuff like that. And I clocked it immediately when it happened on Good Omens. And it probably helps that I had just watched season 1 before watching season 2. So yes, that meant the image was fresh in my mind. But still, I really enjoyed it. The most successful part of Good Omens has always been Aziraphale and Crowley and the relationship they have with each other. But season 2 definitely explores and develops that further. Through the use of the mini episodes, we get a deeper look into the long history these two have with one another and better contextualizes the way these two handle the new mystery that happens in season 2 and how they go about dealing with that and all the other challenges they have to face together. Season 2 builds on the momentum of the season 1 finale really well, of them having pulled off the ultimate trick to save each other, and where they're at now emotionally, particularly for Crowley, and how he has to live with knowing how close Aziraphale came to dying if Crowley had not been the one to go into the hellfire. It's a real treat to watch. I think it's easy for Crowley to stick with his bravado and use that as a bit of a shield to hide behind emotionally, and with both of them being more or less immortal, having a near-death experience is bound to have a profound impact. It's an interesting idea to ponder that Crowley can deny his feelings more easily when he's assuming that he has all the time in the universe, but maybe something cracks when you realize that your person could one day not be there anymore. I don't fully know how season 2 ends, of course, since I've only seen the first 5 episodes, so I don't have a full verdict to offer about a general feeling of resolution or catharsis for season 2 as a complete story. I will need to wait to see episode 6 with everyone else who is going to watch these new episodes, but the general impression I have with watching the screeners is that there might be things getting set up that won't be resolved in the season 2 finale. Maybe some of these things could be further expanded on in a season 3. I would definitely hope that we get another season. It seems like a terrible waste to throw away Michael Sheen and David Tennant being as hilarious and heartwarming as they are working together in the way that they do for this show. But for now, those are my thoughts on Good Omens season 2. I'm not entirely sure when I will be uploading again, given what I've already stated in multiple videos related to the ongoing strikes. So feel free to donate to any of the resources for the striking workers of the entertainment industry. I will share some links in the pinned comment. I just overall hope that fair terms are given to SAG and WGA, and I hope for the best for all of the other unions that are either thinking about striking when they next have an opportunity to do so, or the workers in unions that have yet to fully form for Hollywood's entertainment industry. So I'll be back whenever I'm going to be back. I know that I'll be recording more videos in the coming days while I'm here at Comic-Con, but I have no idea when I will be posting those yet. Thanks again for watching. Bye.